Coming up on the This Week in Cougar Baseball Podcast.
That was the proudest I've been of a team since I've been at Washington State. I thought it was critically important that we compete and fight, and our guys did that. I think they were really resilient.
Yeah, we just want to win, kind of do whatever it takes to win, and I feel like it's something that we have to do. We have to take game by game. Like, we can't really just try to look deep into the season and be like, okay, we're going to be really good then. We just need to focus on our next game and focus on competing every pitch and go from there.
Alongside the head coach of the Cougars, Nathan Choate, here's Trevor Williams.
Welcome into another edition of the This Week in Cougar Baseball Podcast. It is going to be great to talk about, especially these last couple games for Washington State. The Cougars coming off a series split against Cal Poly down in California. Cal Poly expected to be maybe the best team in the Big West, and a team that a lot of people have pegged in the preseason to be an NCAA postseason caliber team. So we bring in the head coach of the Cougars, Nathan Choate, to talk about this series. Just to give folks an overview, Night 1 got away from the Cougs, 9-0 loss, Night 1. Game 2 on Saturday was a 3-2 loss in 10 innings, a heartbreaker at the finish, and then the Cougs rebounded Sunday and Monday with an 8-3 win on Sunday and a 5-4 win on Monday. Come from behind win late for Washington State to grab the lead and then shut the door. So, Coach, as we bring you in here to talk about week 2 of the season, just where's your mind at coming off those couple wins and what I thought was a really resilient, tough bounce back by your guys after the start of that series?
Yeah, I think you were kind at saying they got away from us on Friday. To be honest with you, they kind of kicked our butt in every phase of the game. And so to come back on Saturday, I thought we competed our tail off on Saturday, and lose a heartbreaker 3-2 in extra innings. I was really happy with the effort. Thought we played the game the right way and just, didn't get a swing and didn't get a pitch, and we throw a bunt away, and but cannot be upset with the effort whatsoever. So to go down 2-0 and to come back on Sunday and to play the way we did on Sunday and then the way that we did on Monday, that was the proudest I've been of a team since I've been at Washington State. I thought it was critically important that we compete and fight, and our guys did that. I think they were really resilient. It'd be easy to after you get left on the field on Saturday to just show up and feel sorry for yourself, especially the way that we lost. Proud is honestly the word that myself and our coaching staff feel is we're really proud of the group.
Is there something in your mind, from the spot where you watch at the top step of the dugout, is there something that you can pinpoint that kind of led to that resurgence in games 3 and 4?
Yeah, the pickoff. The pickoff, and it was in game 2, and we lost that game, but it was a pick to first base, and Shawnsby closed the distance and created a lane, threw down to second base, and Gavin Roy went in with a hard, firm tag, and the guy's out, and the guy started jawing at Gavin, and he went in hard to the bag, and Gavin didn't back down, and then they kind of got in each other's face, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, let's go. And to me, from that point forward, I saw a different level of competing our kids.
Kind of rising up to the challenge then of wanting to prove they were there and tough and not backing down.
Yeah, I don't want anybody to ever feel like they can bully our program or our players. And I want our players to feel that they have every right to stand up for themselves. And so, to have Gavin be and that was the message, was we are not going to get bullied, especially the way that we played Friday. It was really poor. And so they kind of bullied us, and they were talking some trash to us. And so to see Gavin stand up for his teammates and himself, I was kind of like, all right, let's go. This is what we've been waiting to see.
So starting in series order for you guys, going to that first game, you mentioned feeling like you guys never really got it going at all. What did you feel like was troublesome for you guys game 1 of the series?
Yeah, just the at-bats weren't great out of the chute, right? And They did a really good job off of Luke. They led the country in hits last year, and they have all their players returning. And so, they don't strike out. Like, I knew we weren't going to have big strikeout numbers because they don't get to 2 strikes a lot. And so they did a really good job, I thought, on Luke of just kind of single here, and then just kind of got a lead on us. And then it was kind of downhill from there for them, and they just kind of poured it on. And we were a little shell shocked, right? And like I said, they kicked our butt, but they also let us know that they kicked our butt and were pretty much in our face about it. So that's why I was really curious to see what happened on Saturday.
And so the bounce back on Saturday, I mean, largely for you guys, really good. Had a 2-0 lead going into the bottom of the 6th inning. Got close there. I mean, there's a borderline pitch where Rylan Hyder may have a guy out, and that gets you out of there 2-0. But woulda, shoulda, coulda. You could talk about that all the time. But you guys end up mixed up in a tight one there. I know Ryan Shawnsby was a part of the offense there in Game 2. Completely different game than Game 1. Just tell me what you saw in the second game of the series.
Yeah, I thought the pitch from Rylan was a strike, and then we go 1-2 fastball up, and this is where we've grown and where he's grown and we've grown as a program. When he came in, and I asked him about the pitch, he's like, "Yeah, it was a strike," but he goes, "I didn't get the ball up on the double down the line," and so he was more focused on what he could control versus what he couldn't. He didn't make that call, right? Like the umpire makes that call. And so when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's a step forward for us. I thought we just had more fight offensively, just trying to pass it off to the next guy. And really, it wasn't the wild pitch because they had second and third with nobody out, 2 strikes, and we're trying to get a swing and miss right there. Really, where it got away was probably the bunt, right? The throw up the line a little bit. That put us in a tough spot. And so I have no, if we're going to talk about process, we can't just celebrate it when it's a win and say it's great process and then be upset when we lose and say it's not. It doesn't work that way. I thought our process was great. We fought. I was super proud of everybody in our program. I was just as excited on Saturday and just as proud on Saturday as I was any other day. We just didn't happen to win.
What did you feel like was the difference maker for you guys in the top half of that 10th inning? I mean, there was a chance there after Noah doubled down the right field line. You guys had a look there at a runner in scoring position with 1 out. What do you think led to Cal Poly being able to shut that opportunity down?
Well, they're good. I mean, they were in a regional final last year, and they've been in a lot of games like that. And so they know how to win, and we're learning how to win. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, they won 40-something games last year, and they know how to win, and we're a program that's learning how to win. And so I think probably that experience helped them get out of that situation. It's not like we weren't trying, just didn't get a swing, not for a lack of effort. Just, sometimes it's okay to give the other team a little bit of credit as well.
And let's talk about the victory on Sunday. So you guys win it 8-3. You had a couple innings where you posted some crooked numbers, 3 runs in the 3rd, 4 in the 8th. We saw you guys mix these big innings with situational hitting, putting plays on. How much of that is deliberate versus reacting to how you saw Cal Poly playing things? And how did your guys achieve that? That seemed to really be very on brand for how you want to put pressure on teams.
Yeah, we made them make decisions defensively where they wanted to play. Did they want to play in on the corners? Did they want to play back? That's where some frustration, the games previous came in. That Friday game and a couple games at Alabama was, I thought we got away from the inside game a little bit, and we want to bunt to hit. So we're not as big into sacrificing and giving up and out, but if we have an opportunity to get a bunt for a base hit and get a pitcher at a stretch, that is something that we need to do. And I thought we did a really good job putting pressure on their corner guys, their pitchers. We held our ground and took hit by pitches. And so that's what we need to do. And then when we get a chance to get a swing, we get a swing. And so we're not going to just go up there and probably get 15 hits a game. I just don't think we're built. I know we're not built that way. We'll have games where we do that. But really getting guys on base and getting pitchers out of the stretch. And so those are things that we try to do by design.
should have mentioned, talking about the last game, you guys got a good start from Nick Lewis, 5 scoreless innings in there. Similar conversation when we talk about Sunday in terms of getting a nice start from Griffin Smith, a nice bounce back for him, 6 2-run innings. What did you see from him and the bullpen continuing to produce there in that series for you guys as well?
Yeah, it was competing, right? And I thought it was a team win on Sunday. I thought it was a team win on Monday, and it wasn't one guy, it wasn't one thing. They played together as a team and they competed. So when you do that, you have a chance. I thought Nick gave us a great start. I thought Griffin was just competing and then giving it to the next guy, and then the bullpen did a great job. And so it's not just one thing. We talked about when you play good baseball, it's 2 or 3 pitches that decide a game. It was still a dogfight on Sunday until we opened it up a little bit late. But that game was a dogfight just as much as Saturday and Monday. You see the score 8-3. I was in the dugout. It didn't feel like an 8-3 game until it was over.
Yeah, definitely a team that can fight with the best of them in Cal Poly. What was different on Monday was it was a pitch by committee. I mean, 8 different pitchers out there for you guys that contributed. How about the back end of that game, Coach? I mean, the last 4 innings from your pitching staff, no earned runs out of that group. That's something, quite frankly, that we didn't see a year ago and seems to be a big step forward for you guys.
Yeah, when people ask me about this year and last year, I get a little testy about it because last year's last year and this year's this year. And some of these kids that are contributing were not on the team.
Yeah.
And so I'll do a standard where they were here, but, Tabor Fast competing, August Ritchie, Scott Ringett, up and, having Caden Wickersham back is huge. And, Luke Myers coming in and do it on his bullpen day to get a couple outs. Yeah, I just think all of those guys, Trevor Stowe with the big strikeout, they're not trying to do too much. They're just going out and competing and trying to make pitches. So I was pretty happy. I think good pitching, good hitting, good defense is contagious, just like bad pitching, bad hitting, bad defense is also contagious. And so I've been pleased with the effort that those guys are giving us.
On Monday, you guys went up by a couple runs in the middle of that ball game, 3-1. That was after Dustin Robinson doubled to left center field to drive in a pair. We're going to talk to him here in just a moment on the podcast. But Cal Poly responded over the next 3 innings. They take the lead from you guys 4-3 going to the 8th. I thought it was a great job by you guys to tie it up in the 8th, take the lead in the 9th. Just talk to me about that resilient portion of the game and the comeback that led to you guys being able to split the series.
Yeah, we gave them a couple runs. We had a couple wild pitches. The ball got away from us. It's nice that if a guy is not on a given night, we can go to another guy to pick him up. Like I said, you're talking about last year, but we just didn't have the depth, right? Like sometimes guys would just have to stay out there and fight through it. And hey man, we're coaching human beings, and they're not always going to be on. And so that's the great thing about team sports is you have a teammate that can pick you up. And so even though we kind of let them back in the game a little bit, which you never want to do, but it does happen, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So for our guys to respond, I think that just shows that they're in a different headspace and this team is in a different spot than maybe the 2 previous, just because they continue to fight.
For the pitching staff, I know coming off week 1, we talked about you still wanted to see fewer walks, and they cut their per game walk totals in half in week 2. It seemed like they took a step forward in that regard for you guys in being around the strike zone.
Yeah, we did. And like I said, that's a team that can hit. They led the NCAA in hits last year, and so they have a ton of returners. And so I thought our guys did a good job challenging the strike zone. They weren't afraid of contact, and we played a really good defense. I mean, don't necessarily look at the errors. For me, it's about making plays. Yeah, there's some plays that we need to make, but I also thought we made plays as well. And so I think the understanding of defense and pitching and defense, it hopefully should free up our pitchers to feel like they don't have to do everything themselves, and defensively not feeling that pressure like, hey, I can't make a mistake. But yeah, I thought it was a step forward for the group on the mound. I was really proud of the compete and just the attack, and we have a ways to go. We're not a finished product by any stretch. I can name 4 pitches right now that I'm still frustrated with. I'm not going to air publicly, and the guys know kind of the pitches I'm talking about. But I'm so proud of them. I am just, it was fun to sit there as a coach and to watch them compete like that. Especially with an unruly fan base, so.
Did it add any emotion for you being back in a place where you played college baseball?
Yeah, it was neat. The guys asked me some questions like where I lived and like all this stuff like that, where we got to have like normal human conversations, not necessarily coach to player, which was kind of neat. But yeah, I was happy for our guys. Like I said, it was a pretty rowdy environment. I was a little disappointed on some of their student section when one of our guys got hurt. Being an alum, I was just disappointed with the reaction, and I will say that publicly. You never need to cheer for a guy when he gets hurt and injured. So I got a little fired up on that, and everybody in our dugout knows I was pretty upset about that.
I think folks watching saw that for Luke Thiel there late in the game. How's Luke doing?
Yeah, day by day right now. See how he feels day by day. Had a good weekend, but I'm still pretty upset. Like anytime a guy is competing his tail off and he gets hurt, I don't care who you're playing, how competitive you are. That's not how things are handled, and I would not. I'm just not okay with that. So.
Well, he was a huge part of the victory for you guys, back-to-back wins, and we're going to get to talk to Dustin Robinson, who was another integral part of your guys' offense, and he was a little banged up week 1. And what have you seen from him? What can Coug fans expect in this conversation that we're going to have with Dustin?
Yeah, he's a physical left-handed hitter that we needed a little bit more presence in the middle of the lineup, and I think he fills that void. Like I said, he really can get on time to a fastball and has some power. I don't think he has, he doesn't have any home runs yet. But he's a strong physical guy that, he's going to hit some balls out of the ballpark over the course of the season. And so, just really pleased with the start that he's had so far.
What have you seen at the start of this season and in some of the game performances? Obviously has come up with some big hits for you guys already and provided some big runs for this team.
Yeah, he's faced some pretty good arms. And, I think one of the things that you can see pretty quickly is it's hard to get a fastball by him. I don't know if there's a guy that throws hard enough to get a fastball by him. And so, hitting in the middle of the lineup, he's a guy that we rely heavily on. Was beat up a little bit, so he DH'd a couple games, but a really good athlete. He could play out in the outfield, could play first base as well. But was banged up just a little bit, but has gotten a lot of swings for us.
Dustin, welcome into the podcast for the first time. How are things going for you? I mean, first couple weeks of the season under your belt now, and getting used to playing in the crimson and gray. How's that going?
Doing great. Just kind of getting used to everything. All the traveling is it's a lot different from last year. But I'm loving it. Trying to get my ankle a little better, and then we'll keep rolling.
Well, you got a stolen bag in there, so I'm assuming it's feeling a little bit better, right?
It's getting better. So as long as I keep on that track, then that's all that matters.
Tell me about, you heard Coach talk about what you've brought to the program so far. I mean, what stuck out to you when making the choice to come to Washington State? Why did you want to be a part of this team?
So I had Ryan Shawnsby. I played junior college with him, and I talked to him a lot about it, and he kind of just he convinced me with all the coaching staff and how they coach, their style of coaching. And I kind of I like being pushed. I don't like being babied, beating around the bush, anything like that. If I want you to be straight up with me, and I'm not gonna sit there and pout about it. I like being told what someone's thinking and go from there.
I'm assuming that's part of the message then that you got from Ryan when you were, conversating about what it's like at this program.
Yes, that, and we had a Zoom call with all the coaches, and Choate's I guess message, and that really fired me up, and that was also one of my deciding factors.
Are you allowed to share any parts of that message?
I mean, it was just it's kind of just him explaining how he's not afraid to be hard on people, and he's not going to baby someone just because he thinks it's going to hurt their feelings. It's more of a, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, no matter what I think you're going to kind of react to it. And that's how I'm going to coach. And I like that.
So tell me about these first couple weeks of the year, first playing against Alabama. And then, of course, you get a majority of your time against Cal Poly after you mentioned kind of that little bit of an ankle issue that you had going on. But what have you taken away from the first couple weeks of the season?
I mean, you're just playing baseball. Some people come into these games thinking it's some crazy opponents that we're playing and kind of overthink everything. And I've kind of just realized that everyone's the same and we're all playing the same game.
In this Cal Poly series, specifically coming off a victory, we're recording on Tuesday, so a night ago on Monday, but big 2 RBI for you in that one, a double. I mean, talk to me about at the plate, just what you're seeing right now, and you're off to a good start there.
I mean, at the plate, I feel like I've been seeing the ball pretty well recently. It's just getting the right pitch to drive in the right situation. But hopefully I can keep it rolling throughout Long Beach and the rest of the season.
Coach, what stood out to you in terms of when you look at some of these early season at-bats? So really good game for Dustin against Alabama with a couple hits and a couple runs driven in, and hits in 3 of the 4 games against Cal Poly. What's standing out to you about his at-bats right now?
Yeah, I think just his plan and his maturity. This being his first year at the Division I level, he's had some swings that I think he would like back. And then he's had some swings that he's pretty happy with. And regardless of the result, I think his maturity has really stood out to me. When I talk to him, when he's walking in, he's present, he's listening. He's not an emotional roller coaster. And I think what he said earlier, he just wants feedback. He wants to be as great a player as he can be. And he wants feedback so he can get better. That's kind of a rare thing out of a guy, playing his first 2 weekends at the Division I level. So I think just his plan and then his maturity are the 2 biggest things that have stood out.
Is there an at-bat in particular that has stood out in your mind in terms of the ones that he's had so far? And like you said, some critical runs driven in for you guys in a couple games.
Yeah, I think opening night in the first inning, they tried to go fastball and he went the other way and hit a line drive over the shortstop's head. I thought that was kind of him announcing like, hey, you are not going to throw a fastball by me, man. And so that was the one that I just kind of thought he sent a message like, hey, I'm going to be on time to the fastball. And so, yeah, that very first swing to put us up 2-0, I thought kind of a statement swing.
How big was it for you, Dustin, personally, to contribute right away on the road in an environment like that?
It was awesome just to be able to put the team up that early in the game. And then I feel like going into the game, everyone kind of had the same mentality of like, we're going to win this game no matter who they throw at us, what goes on during the game. And I feel like that really just helped the team out. And I was pumped on it.
And tell me about the 2 runs driven in against Cal Poly and the double in that game. I mean, walk me through the at-bat with the double. What were you seeing there? And obviously big for you guys to bounce back in games 3 and 4.
Yeah, those games were fun. They had a good fan section. They were chirpy, but it was fun to be able to drive the runs in and just kind of show them that it's not the first game. First game it was a rough start, but I feel like the last 3 games of that series really showed Cal Poly who Washington State is.
You started your career at Cypress College in Southern California, played really well there. What's been the biggest adjustment to heading to this next level and playing now at Washington State?
I would say the biggest adjustment is just figuring out my routine. I had my routine at Cypress and knew everything, knew scenery, living, team, coaches, all that. Figuring out my routine is the biggest thing. And once I kind of had that set in, everything became a lot easier.
I'm interested too to get your opinion on because of some of these big moments that you've already been up at the plate, like we talked about in the Alabama game right off the start. What goes through your mind? What do you think about when you're approaching an at bat in a big spot?
In an at bat, I try to clear my head as like I don't want to think about anything. I might think about my approach on deck, but even then, I just try to go up as calm as I can and believing in myself.
Coach, how have you seen Dustin integrate with this roster? I mean, we've talked about this year. You guys brought back a really impactful core of returners, and then with him being a new piece, how does he fit into the leadership equation and everything going on roster-wise?
Yeah, I think he's very like-minded to the guys that are on the team. Has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, just wants to win. Super competitive. You know, he's 6'4". He's a lot more physical than other guys. So, I think that stands out. But as far as a teammate, I think he's assimilated pretty quickly. And I think he fits in. And that's one of the things that we try to do in recruiting. And we try to tell guys like, hey, you are going to be around like-minded individuals. And so I think it makes it pretty easy. I guess that'd be a better question for him. But from my standpoint, he's done a great job assimilating with the group, and the group has accepted him. And you can't really tell at this point who's new players or old players. Like we're one team. This is this year's team, and he's done a great job fitting in with those guys.
Dustin, how did you feel that whole process work throughout the offseason? I mean, having such a good group of guys coming back that had been here and played at Washington State, how did you guys all mesh so quickly to achieve what Coach is talking about in that one team mindset?
I just feel like we do everything together. Like we're at practice, we're at weights, some of us have class together, and then even after baseball, we all go do stuff. That I feel like that really helps a team out, and just everyone, it brings everyone closer. There's not groups on the team. Everyone does everything together.
I want to give you a chance to brag on a couple of your teammates a little bit. So let's start with Ryan Shonsby, because he said that you guys go way back. We talked to him early in the season to kind of get his thoughts on the offseason. I know a lot of people have noticed growth in his game. How have you seen him change, being someone who's known him over a longer period of time than maybe some of us here?
It's honestly, he was always really quiet when I first met him. And I mean, now he's not quiet because I've known him for 3 years, but his baseball game has kind of been the same. He's not a very emotional player, but I have noticed that in the bigger moments now at Washington, he's kind of gotten out of his shell, and he likes to celebrate a little bit more. I feel like at Cypress, he was just kind of like very quiet when he would do something in a great situation.
That's pretty cool. Tell me too about Trevor Smith in center field, a guy that you've gotten to roam the outfield with as you guys get into this season. He's making some pretty tremendous catches out there. I mean, are you surprised sometimes when you see these balls that he's running down?
I mean, I am surprised, but all the stuff that he's done in the fall, it's you kind of expect him to do it. Like I've seen these balls and I'd be like, okay, he's going to make this play. And then he proceeds to just make an insane play, run through walls, dive him for balls. It's impressive.
Does he have anything in his bag of tricks that we haven't seen yet? I mean, have you seen some catches crazier than even the first couple of weeks?
That Alabama catch was, I haven't seen that ever, honestly. He ran straight through that fence. The fence got him, but he made the catch, so.
He got what mattered. He held on to the baseball.
Exactly.
Looking forward, I mean, we talk about a couple weeks in the books, really just just the very beginning of what this season will be. Talk to me about going forward now. I mean, you guys have some momentum getting games 3 and 4 of the series against Cal Poly. I thought there was a real resilience you guys showed as a team in the second half of that series, especially coming off a tough extra inning loss in game 2. How do you guys harness that to move forward? It seems like there's a lot of hunger.
Yeah, we just want to win, kind of do whatever it takes to win. And I feel like it's something that we have to do. We have to take game by game. Like we can't really just try to look deep into the season and be like, okay, we're going to be really good then. We just need to focus on our next game and focus on competing every pitch and go from there.
What do you think it says about you guys, the way you responded after the first 2 games of that series? I mean, coming off a really heartbreaking loss in game 2, how did you guys flip the switch and do that in the back half of the series?
I feel like we just didn't get scared. We knew deep down that we could beat them, and we came out the next day and we showed them what we really can do.
What are you looking forward to most this week as you guys continue down in California and you have some good tests coming up?
Honestly, it's just nice being back home with family, being able to have my parents come out and watch instead of over a phone. But I mean, we just want to win.
Do you have them in the house for Cal Poly as well then?
They did. They came to 3 of the games.
That's pretty special. That's really cool stuff. Coach, any last thoughts on Dustin and just the start of this year, and obviously going to be a big piece of what the Cougs utilize this season?
Yeah, I think he, like our players, understand when we play a certain way and a certain brand, we can be a good team. And so echo his thoughts on really just, getting ready for practice tomorrow and then plan on Thursday. And then once Thursday's over, get ready for Friday and really just take it a game at a time and a pitch at a time. That's the way that this team has the most success. And so as a coach, it makes me happy to hear him say that because I think he understands and our guys understand that gives us the best chance to be successful.
Well, Dustin, we are really excited for you and the success you had in this last series. And we're hoping the same thing you were talking about, that the ankle continues to get better and better each and every second, and looking forward to watching you the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Great conversation with Dustin Robinson. A big thanks to him for joining us here this week on the podcast. And Coach, I hear a guy who's lasered in, like a lot of the guys I've heard, and gotten a chance to talk to in the program so far. You guys are excited about what's to come. It seems like everybody's always looking for the next pitch, and coming up for you guys, you get to take on BYU and Long Beach State in Long Beach. Just what are you working towards now as you guys go to week 3? There's always more improvement to be had.
Yeah, we were joking around. We're going to call it the Cougar Classic, historic Blair Field. But because obviously with BYU, but no,
yep.
Kind of an unusual way how this thing came together. And we were originally going to play Long Beach State for 4 games and then BYU. And so it'll be a good opportunity to play kind of like a mini tournament with the 3 teams. Being from Southern California and knowing how historic Blair Field is, it'll be great to play there. BYU is off to a solid start, and Long Beach is obviously a really good program. And so it'll be a different type of challenge for us. But yeah, excited to get going on Thursday, play Thursday, doubleheader Friday, off on Saturday, and then on Sunday. So
how did the schools reach that decision between you guys, BYU, Long Beach State, to play it this way? I mean, it feels a little bit kind of regionally.
Yeah, so there was some scheduling issues originally, and so we needed to make it fit. We were already coming down and needed I really wanted 4 games, and the only way it was going to really work is if we ended up playing, and I didn't want to go doubleheader. So playing the doubleheader on Friday and then having Saturday off. I think anytime you get a chance to play a doubleheader earlier in the year, it just should hopefully prepare you for late in the year in a conference tournament, regional, if you end up in the loser's bracket.
Yeah.
And so really that's how I want our guys to look at it is, hey, you're going to be tired. You got to find a way to fight through it, and then we'll rest up on Saturday and then play on Sunday. So, a little bit of an unusual format, but I kind of like unusual formats because I do think it helps you prepare for those opportunities down the road when things get thrown off for whatever reason.
Well, and the reality is, right, you want to be at Sloan Park at the end of the season playing there in the Mountain West Championships, and you get there, you're going to be destined to play a doubleheader somewhere likely. So I think that's a great point of getting to rep that. We talked in the Alabama series about the doubleheaders do complicate things a little bit from a pitching perspective. I'm sure the Saturday day off helps in terms of pitching planning, but as we talked about the pitchers, I mean, how do you see that group going forward this week with all the good strides that were made against Cal Poly?
Yeah, I think there's some guys that will have a little bit expanded roles. And so they'll continue to get more opportunities. How that'll play out, we're going to play it a game at a time. And so try to win on Thursday. And then, obviously with the bullpen on Friday. And then the Saturday day off will help. But we will have to get a little bit creative. But like I said, it's an opportunity for guys to be in maybe a different role that they wouldn't be otherwise. And so, but when we play these games like this, like we go all in on Thursday and then we deal with Friday. Because if you save a couple guys out of the bullpen, you might be saving them for an opportunity that never comes. And so you really got to go all in when you're late in a game and give your team the best chance to win.
How about at the plate? What are you guys working on? What do you want to see approach-wise into this weekend? What have you liked? What are you trying to improve? Yeah,
I'd like to see us continue to do a good job with the inside game and getting guys on base. I thought we had some pretty good 2-out hitting. There's just a couple line drives right at guys. Luke hit a line drive right at the shortstop. So I think our approach and being on time to the fastball was better the last 2 days. But really a combination of mixing both of those things is, finding a way to get on base, whether it's a walk or a hit by pitch or a bunt, and then being on time to a fastball and putting pressure on them. And so I guess the challenge would be, we did it for a couple days, but thought we competed 3 days in a row. Can we go into Thursday and make it 4 days in a row and stick with the process? And so that's what we're looking forward to seeing.
All right, well, we're excited to watch it this weekend. Happy you guys are dodging the rain and the snow in the Northwest, and hopefully we'll get some better weather as you continue on here in non-conference play. Thanks for the time, as always, Coach. We're looking forward to this weekend.
Appreciate it. Go Cougs.